Welcome to the Weekly Money Roundup, where we cover the biggest money stories of the week every week. Tesla shares have made considerable gains after Donald Trump successfully won the US presidential election. The automaker's shares jumped 8.2%, catapulting the company's valuation to well over $1 trillion for the first time in more than 2 years. The stock gained 29% this week alone, adding more than $230 billion to its capitalization, its best since January 2023. And this has taken Elon Musk's net worth to $300 billion, and he's almost $50 billion better off than he was before the election. David Whiston said, quote, "If Musk can convince Trump to establish a federal autonomous vehicle rules, we think this is a good thing for the auto industry because we think firms want to see a set of federal rules rather than each state making their own." This recent jump still puts Tesla as by far the world's most valuable car maker, beating out the likes of Toyota and Volkswagen by a pretty wide margin. But it wasn't all champagne and cocaine. Tesla's stock price fell nearly 6% towards the end of the week, and since misery loves company, Tesla was joined by Rivian, whose shares dropped by 14%, Lucid, whose shares fell by 5%. These were all driven by the news that Donald Trump's transition team is planning to kill the $7,500 consumer tax credit for electric vehicles. We also get to the latest UK inflation numbers this week. The UK's inflation rate hit 1.7% for the previous 12 months, the lowest rate in 3.5 years, and inflation continues to stay below the Bank of England's 2% target. This is also fresh off the back of the Bank of England cutting interest rates for the second time in 2024, reducing the bank rate to 4.75%. The latest figures show pay grew at the slowest rate in more than 2 years between July and September, and the average annual growth in pay was 4.8%, down from 4.9%. But despite the slowdown, wages are still rising faster than inflation. We also can't ignore the absolute tear that Bitcoin has been on. It surged more than 33% since Donald Trump won the election. On the day of the election, Bitcoin was priced at $68,000 and briefly topped $90,000 after breaking through the $80,000 mark. But it's worth saying that Bitcoin's price has retreated slightly, coinciding with a wider sell-off in the global equities market. This gain is largely driven by Donald Trump's win. He said he wanted to make the US a crypto superpower.
This afternoon, I'm laying out my plan to ensure that the United States will be the crypto capital of the planet and the Bitcoin superpower of the world, and we'll get it done.
And Trump also courted crypto cash with promises to be a crypto president as well. The crypto industry is basically pushing for an ambitious raft of policies that would promote the widespread adoption of digital assets, something that so far has really eluded most cryptocurrencies. But Trump isn't alone. Coinbase and others spent more than $119 million backing pro-crypto congressional candidates. He's also said he wanted to fire SEC Chairman Gary Gensler to remove some of the regulations that have already been applied to crypto. And so OPENAI is getting sued, fresh off the back of their $6.6 billion funding round, valuing them at $157 billion. But what seemed inevitable at this stage is that OPENAI has been sued by German collection society and licensing body Gamer, who look after the rights of songwriters based in Germany. Gamer alleges that OPENAI used ChatGPT to, quote, reproduce protected song lyrics by German authors without having acquired licenses or paid the authors in question. The Gamer lawsuit also alleges that OpenAI's ChatGPT, quote, was trained with copyrighted text including song lyrics from a repertoire of around 95,000 Gamer members, who have not yet been paid for the use of their works. Typically, in order to use a songwriter's work, you need to get their permission first and then pay them for using their intellectual property. Now, we'll be following this one really closely, as this could prove to be a bellwether case as AI becomes more powerful and more widespread. And unfortunately, it's more bad news for the UK economy. We just got the GDP numbers in as I sat down to start this video. UK economic growth slowed to 0.1% as budget jitters and high interest rates took their toll. And let's be honest, this is definitely going to spoil Rachel Reeves' day. Rachel Reeves has attempted to push the UK to the top of the G7 growth league, but with economic growth being absolutely meagre, down from 0.5% in the second quarter, according to the ONS. And unfortunately, the UK ranked number 6 in the G7 growth for the third quarter, above only Italy, but below France, Germany and the US, which grew by 0.4%, 0.2% and 0.7% respectively. Whilst everyone has understandably been talking about Nvidia for the whole year, there is another stock out there that has absolutely crushed other big tech stocks like Apple, Microsoft and Alphabet. Spotify shares pop on better than expected profit forecast off the back of their Q3 results. But Spotify did fall short on some expectations. Revenue was 3.9 versus a 4.2 expectation. Monthly active users were 640 versus expectations of 639. And whilst the company's earnings and revenue fell slightly short, investors focused on the forward guidance for the period. But this stock is up 167% over the last 12 months, blowing some of the other tech stocks completely out of the water. This video is brought to you by Modern Money Talk, where we talk all things personal finance and economics. We have a video here about the most recent UK budget and another one here about whether you should invest or pay off your mortgage. Subscribe to stay updated on all the big money news. Until next week, this has been your weekly money roundup.